Slap it on.
It's that time again. We're back. Yes. Yeah. You think that we've been away all these weeks doing nothing and just sitting back and relaxing and enjoying the sunshine, and then we come back and do the odd live stream, and then we go away and do nothing again. That's what you think. Well, you're probably
I've been here every week. I've been sitting here waiting, and it just hasn't happened. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You've been here for 3 weeks, Chris.
Yeah.
Have you been to go pooping yet or anything? Not even.
Nope. I don't know when someone's going to turn up, so I couldn't leave.
Yeah. I've just been sat here, and the wife brings drinks up now and again, and I just wait for people to come by. And
have you had to live on nothing but gin and the moisture dripping off the ceiling, Ted?
That's it. And eating spiders. That's what's kept me going for 3 weeks. Lots of spiders because the hot weather brings them out. Yeah, isn't it hot?
What Ted really means is it's so hot in his loft he's been on a 3-week vision quest up there.
As they say on that film, it's hot, damn hot.
Damn hot.
Hotter than a snake's belly in a wheel rut.
Don't try that accent again.
I don't know that one.
That's worse than my Australian, I think, that.
Yeah, but there we are. Welcome back to eModels live stream. eModels on a Monday night. You know where we are. That's why you're here. Like and subscribe. Press the notification bell.
Like and subscribe.
All the other things that they usually say on YouTube. But thanks for joining us anyway. As you see over here, there's only what's he called? Chris. Yeah, Chris and Foxx. Yeah,
Bob.
Good job. Yeah, good job. They got the names up so I can remember who they are. And Colin's taking it easy for the time being. So yeah, he's sat back with his feet up, probably having a nice pina colada on his sun lounger on the patio.
Oh, that song's in my head now. Oh, did you have to say pina colada? Oh, man.
Jeff says we can hardly hear Ted. I'll move a little bit closer because the microphone's just, it's all about repositioning microphones. Let me turn it round a little bit.
That's the camera, Ted. That's not
That's
the
the camera, Ted. That's the one that does the pictures.
The opposite of the microphone.
Yeah. So there we are. And that's about it. It's over to you folks in Chatland to lead us on our merry way of things to talk about. What have you been doing for the past 3 weeks? Is it that long?
3 weeks, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. What have you been doing? What have you finished? Finished the thing, you get a ding if I can find my dinger.
Ding.
Let us know. And have you been anywhere on your hollybobs? Been away with the kids because the kids have just been on holiday. What else? Yeah, tell us. Yeah, we'll sit back here and we'll listen to what you've been doing.
Yeah. Don't forget, of course, this is a show for eModels.co.uk, your one-stop shop. I don't know what this is. This is kind of 1980s caftan weirdness. Your one-stop shop for all your model making needs. As always, it is an eModel show, so please keep it clean and family friendly in the chat, and please refrain from discussing other model retailers in the live chat. That would be the polite thing to do. If you're watching this embedded in Facebook or Twitter or somewhere else and you can't see the live chat, just click on the little YouTube icon that's down there in the bottom right hand corner somewhere below Ted's manly whatever, or somewhere down there. Click on that and it'll take you to YouTube where you can carry on watching and you can join the live chat. And you should do, because we're having a jolly good time, and because we'll do the what's in store later on with the theme and all that as well. And you might win. What will they win, Ted?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, so do keep it family friendly and nice. Yes, big hugs to Colin. Colin is just taking a couple of weeks out to rest and recuperate, but he'll be back with us sooner than you know. So big hugs to Col. See you soon, buddy.
Yeah, hugs to Col. Yeah, virtual hugs. Sending virtual hugs.
Virtual hugs.
The Bobbin says, do we get births, deaths and factoids, please? Well, we haven't got any. So find some yourselves, put them in chat, and we'll probably read them.
We'll read them out.
Yeah. This week, because Colin's not here,
we can't be. But I mean, we've not prepared.
Yeah, you in Chatland can take Colin's place tonight. So it's up to you to go across to Google or Bing or whatever you have. Yahoo.
Yahoo. Ted. 1998. Hello.
Ask Jeeves.
Who else was there?
DuckDuckGo. I don't know.
Yeah, and have a look on www. wherever, and find some factoids for us,
Yeah.
and births, deaths, and
Yeah.
things.
And remember, they tend to be sciencey things as well. The births and deaths tend to be sciencey type stuff. No celebrity rubbish. Don't care about celebrities. Celebrities are rubbish. We don't care about them. But yes, trying to make them. Remember that we have to read them out. So think on, but keep them family friendly because we're not going to read out anything slightly dubious. So yes. But if you want to give us stuff that's going to be hard to pronounce, feel absolutely free. We'll do our best to emulate Colin.
Yeah. If it works, we could make a thing of it, and we'll get rid of Colin. We don't need him back.
No,
No, we love you, really, Colin.
Colin provided by ChatGPT. No.
I'm Belly and Bench, and it's a nice, cool evening. So what
Cool.
would be the liquid refreshment of choice? As the sun sets across the horizon and sinks into the sea and goes.
Ted very nearly mentioned a yard arm then, but not quite.
Yeah. The sun is over the yard arm somewhere. Yeah. Mark Zellard says you can't win for a chance to win nothing. So
You can.
Very
You have
special.
to.
It's eModels nothing. That's what makes it special.
Especially branded with no stickers. Yeah.
Sent to you by the tubes. I seem to be on a bit of a slant. I don't know if it's me that's on a slant or is it the camera.
I don't know.
I think you're slightly sloped.
Yeah.
Is your chair
Do you
at an
find your
angle?
paint? Do you find your paint pots all rushing down to one edge of the shelf?
Yeah, it's when I laid the floor in this loft that I found that's about.
It's because there's a dirty, great big liner next to you on the side that's pushing you down. A dirty, great big ship over there.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I built. Yeah, it's a slipway. Yeah, that's it.
It's the weight of the Titanic.
Its own gravitational field.
Ah!
Good. So what's everybody been up to while we've been away? Well,
I seem to have gone very dark all of a sudden. Why have I gone suddenly very dark?
Have you turned the light out?
No. What's going on there? Oh, no. It's all right. It's just my monitor being weird. That's all.
You've got sunglasses on. That's
They're not sunglasses. They're just tinted. But yes, it's my monitor's being weird.
We know
the monitor
they're
might be on the
sunglasses.
way
You're trying
out.
to hide your identity from the paparazzi.
Yes, no one will ever know who I am. No, never ever. There's no way to find out who I am at all.
No
Anyway.
possible way of finding you anywhere. Yep.
I think my cheap monitor that I got from the local recycling plant for £2.50, it might be on the way out.
yeah. Well, that beats my computer, which folks may not know that about 5 minutes before we started, my computer wouldn't boot up. Yeah, nothing would start. So Foxx was panicking because there's things in what's installed that he doesn't know what to talk about.
Yeah, it's like oh.
Yeah.
The thing about Ted's startup routine is that Ted's startup routine, the first step is, it's 5-2.
Yeah.
Then he heads upstairs, and then if anything's not going to work, you've got Windows Update. Oh,
Yeah,
so, yes.
that's it. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's 3 minutes to go. I better go get that loft ladder down and climb in the loft. Turn the lights on. Yeah, that's it.
Paul Allen Ryder says, correction, Fox, caftans were the 60s and 70s. What did I say? Did I say 80s?
I wasn't listening.
I knew they were 70s because Mama Wolf used to walk around in caftans in the 70s with a big, massive, dirty, great big perm. It's just the way things were then. Stefan Last is in.
Yeah, on that note, then, for people in the chat and us, from the 60s and 70s, what would you bring back if you could? Probably, yeah.
Safari jackets.
60s. I probably remember the 60s more than anybody else would. Yeah.
We didn't experience any of the 60s, so you
No, it's
yes.
all. So the thing to me is, the 60s are always like in black and white and cold and wet and grim. And if they're in colour,
the 60s were all global hypercolored things and bright patterns and stuff, wasn't it? It was all
yeah.
hippie,
But whenever
trippy.
you look at like normal people's lives in the 1960s, it's always glum and grim looking. Like
I
go
don't
watch
think
any
anyone had
Carry On
normal
film.
lives in the 60s. It was all
Yeah,
lovely
you
sleeps
got
and
it.
stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, the world was still in black and white in the 60s,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
I mean, apart from all the hippies with the bright colours, for normal people living in their semi-detached houses in new towns, it was really grim looking. But the 70s was all Indian summers.
Yeah,
and-
60s was an era of people walking about in clogs with brass bands playing it on each street corner, wasn't there?
That may just be a northern thing. Ted. That's like me and thee, not him down there. For Chris, I guess it would have been like Pearly Kings and Queens and I don't know, gangsters.
Yeah, if you get in any more into town, then yeah, that'd definitely be it.
Yeah.
Bowler
Or
hats.
Pearly Kings and Queens who are gangsters. That could be even worse.
No, they're always polite.
Everybody talking in Dick Van Dyke English.
Oh, blimey, Mary Poppins.
Idiot.
If he'd never done Diagnosis Murder, I never would have forgiven him for that. It was only doing Diagnosis Murder that I quite enjoyed watching that. I got to be okay with Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah, I've been reading a few of Fred Dibner's books. That really takes you back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Do you like that?
I don't know if I said that last time I was on. I was reading Fred Dibner, reading it in his voice.
Did you ever see when he did like a history series on the BBC about it was all Industrial Revolution stuff? And it was like the classic, like walking along, talking to the camera. And one thing you realised is he's a really crap presenter. He's not a natural presenter. He's a lovely bloke, but he wasn't a natural presenter.
Yeah, that's what he used to say. He said, I used to tell people, I'm not no actor, you know.
Nope. He's there walking along, and now then, you see, when this was all hills, I remember when this was all green fields.
And they took up them ruddy great big planks of wood and stuck them on.
Bit too before.
Athel wants to bring back from the 60s flower power and rally chopper bikes. Now, I did hear on the radio last week that rally choppers are in fact making a return.
Yeah, but they're the kid size. They're not. They're too small for adults.
I don't know. I think there might be a bigger version. I don't know. I think they're.
Although, I'm pretty sure nowadays, if you're an adult on an adult-sized rally chopper, you just look like a drug dealer.
Yeah, probably. But that doesn't stop them bringing them back.
Try not to carry like 3 mobile phones.
I always wanted a rally chopper.
I did. I never had one.
Yeah, I always wanted a rally chopper, but my great grandma thought they were really unhealthy because you put your hands up in the air and all the cold could go on your armpits, so it could go in your jacket. So
nothing to do with the dirty great big gear stick right where your gentleman's area would be if you fell off. I bring back safari jackets, and bizarrely, as I'm getting older, I'm developing a thing for first of all corduroy and second of all slightly flared trousers. I don't mean big, massive, wide bell bottoms. I just mean
you do.
Slightly flared, like a bit like boot cut nowadays, but maybe a bit wider.
Yeah, they call them boot cut.
We said bring back, not look in your wardrobe.
But hey, I've got some boot cuts, but it's just I don't know. There's something about the slightly flare that just gives you that kind of.
Is it big colours as well?
Oh yeah.
Platform shoes, 3-star jumpers.
not quite that bad. I don't want to bring back the glam side of it. Yeah. But I can't be the only person that sat and watched Life on Mars, and as I was watching it thinking, I'd wear that. That looks quite good. I'd wear that. Yeah. My favourite jacket in the whole world right now downstairs is a 1970s safari jacket in brown leather that I wear all the time. It's just the best thing ever. I love it.
I could bring back the Ford Cortina.
Oh yeah, Mark III. Ooh.
Mark III, yeah.
Hairy old Cortina.
And the Ford Capri. Never had a Capri. Always yearned towards having a Capri, but never had one.
I always had the fixings for a Ford Cortina, a GXL. GXL, is it GLX? I can't remember now. It's been so long. GXL 2000.
Somebody in chat will tell us.
Paul Allen Ryder says, you said 80s, Fox. I do, Paul. I meant 70s. And I will bring back Afghan coats. I was and still am a hippie, just older. I also have a John Motson coat, like the kind of padded car coat with the big fluffy Georgian era kind of collar, with the fake fur collar. It's all brown.
Like a ruff?
No, you know, it's like a car coat. It looks like a puffer jacket, but it's not made out of modern puffer jacket stuff. It's like kind of soft, suede material, and then the collar's like that wide, looking very Georgian and post-Victorian, but it's got that kind of layer of fur on it, the fake fur, and it's got the big brown buttons with the crackle pattern on them. Proper John Motson coat.
I'm just saying, anybody else in chat who've just come in, we're talking about what would you bring back from the 60s and 70s? Or
Andy Preston
going into the 80s.
Andy Preston, 80s are far too depressing. Don't do the 80s. Andy Preston says, I've got a Rally Super Bomber. Oh, that's like a young version of a grifter, wasn't it? See, grifters to me, grifters were the bikes that the big burly 15-year-olds always had, and you didn't mess with them. And Phil Lewis says, Fox is going all James Burke. Well,
Just going above that, Mark Sellard has come up with some births, deaths, and
No,
1799 naturalists. Is that naturalists or naturists? Never mind.
naturalists.
Naturalists.
What's in your head? Keep in your head.
Alexander von Humboldt and Amy Bonpland set sail in the Pizarro from a
Colin's in the room.
yeah, wherever they set off from. They spent 5 years doing it on their Latin American expedition. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Anybody else? Go across to Google, Jeeves, whatever, and look up some births, deaths, and marriages. Marriages, even?
No, not
like.
the end.
Maybe not marriages.
Births, deaths. What was it? Yeah, births and deaths.
Births and deaths. And you could take Colin's place tonight with your informative news.
Yes. I do like the way when you said the lady's name there, or the bomb. You just kind of faded the name out as you went along it.
Alexander von Humboldt and Amy Bonpland.
I wonder if the Humboldt squid are named after Alexander von Humboldt, seeing as they seem to be doing shipping stuff. My dad's last car was a JPS Lotus Cortina Mark III in green and black with golden wheels, says Athel. Ooh,
Yeah,
yes.
that's nice. They were nice then. They were that sporty look. They're very rare as well.
Yeah. We were set to start work on a Mark II Cortina. Or was it Mark II Escort? It was a recreation of a famous rally car that some guy had, and he was building it from the ground up, basically taking a knackered old Mark II, I think Escort, might have been a Cortina, and he was basically restoring it completely to full rally spec in the early 1970s, down to making the leather holding packet for the racing driver's tools with the name of the racing driver on it and stuff. Cool. And we were going to do some work on that, but I left before then. So. Anders Ericsson says he would bring back his youth from the 1970s, so innocent and without a problem in the world. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was it. That was when your head was just full of the Argus catalogue, wasn't it?
Yeah. Everything was brilliant now. I'd say more actual K's catalogue, to be honest.
Yeah, I was just going to say, would there be an Argus, or would it be Freeman's and K's?
There was an Argus.
Gratin catalogue we used to get.
Gratin. It might have been Gratin. I'm not sure, actually. It got me thinking now.
And Green Shield stamps, yeah.
Green Shield stamps, yeah.
Going with your parents to Tesco and get a book full of Green Shield stamps. Yeah, I'd stick them in the book.
Used to be little coin things from petrol stations as well, like coin collecting things.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, for every 4 gallon or something, you got a pint pot or something like that. Yeah, you got some coins. What else was there? Yeah, chat. Come on, guys in the chat. You can lead the way. What else can you remember from the 60s, 70s?
We've got about 10 minutes before Foxx does his what's in store, so prepare your brains for that. You won't need them, but it's always nice to have them prepared.
I'm just turning my messenger. I realise messenger. You're getting all pinging from a messenger.
I keep getting a ping and thinking it's my phone going, but it's not.
Right, who's finished something? Sorry. Yes, I was trying to turn it off. Yes, I do have the what's in store tonight. It is very, very, very simple because it's far too warm to be doing hard, complicated thinking. So tonight's what's in store is just like kindergarten level.
Yep.
You should all get it within a minute of just, I don't know, me starting.
And talk about it only getting warm. It was it must be summer because I broke out the barbecue this week. The barbecue came out for the first time of the season.
Do you know, our neighbours have had the barbecue out every day this week, and every day I've been sitting there thinking, right, whatever I was going to make for dinner, it's going to be cancelled, and I'm going to order a real filthy burger from the Canadian charcoal grill because that's what it smells like.
Right.
You should just pop round to your neighbours and take a plate.
Or lean out the window. Oh, can you pass us some on, mate? Now, I do have to read this out because Jeff, our friend Candygram at Mongo, is in the chat. Let's have a look. There are many hypotheses in physics of almost comparable brilliance and elegance that have been rejected because they did not survive such a confrontation with experiment. We always call Jeff our own little Carl Sagan because he's got this wonderful voice. So there you go. That's for Jeff. The Carl Sagan quote. It wasn't very good.
We
It killed the show completely, didn't it? That
Absolutely. We're all deeply in thought now about, Carl Sagan.
I started with a showstopper. Way. And don't forget, folks, come up with some births and deaths and facts of the week, and we'll read them out.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody was born and died on this day.
There are websites like This Day in Science and things like that where they just have a little drop-down thing and you put the date in. So
Anders has got a birth for us. He says, on this day in 1920, Cornelius Ryan was born. Who's that?
You need to tell us about them as well.
The name doesn't sound familiar from anything, but
Name rings a bell.
We need all the factoids in the factoid.
Oh,
AJ said something and that's taking it back.
yeah,
Don't know what it was.
He was on about bomber jackets and.
I think he mentioned Carl Sagan as well, which means it's a good comment. Paul says, "What do you mean, Chris? Is Fox's brain not as obscure as yours?" I'm far too lazy to do the kind of weird brain twisting that Chris does.
I wouldn't say obscure. I'd say it's not as higher functioning. I'm like the modern video game with the waypoint markers and the go here and press that thing button marker floating in there. You're like the 1990s boomer shooter with no hints or map whatsoever. Find the gold key. Where is it? No save points. Yeah,
it's somewhere in this map. Where's the map?
I only remember those type of computer games or even a PC game where I had to read a book. You flip the page and it told you somewhere on the page that there were clues. And I think I didn't get past the first page before I turned it off and went and did something more interesting.
Why don't you? Just in case anyone's not tried it yet, by the way, I have been playing Bolt Gun. It's out now on, I think, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. You don't have to like Warhammer 40,000 to play it. It's just an awesome retro game. It's a proper retro boomer shooter. It's real 1990s style. Just get it. It's dirt cheap. Get it, play it. You'll like it.
One game I do remember is that when I was building the submarine, my son brought me the Wolf Pack game for the submarine game for the PC.
Oh, yeah.
It seemed to work in real time. That if you had to sail across the Atlantic, it took you about a week to get there. And
yeah.
So it was a lot of sitting in front of the computer watching the position change very slowly.
You'd be surprised, Ted. There's a big market now for like transport simulators. So you get things like European Truck Simulator, which is literally you're driving a truck from a destination to another destination within Europe, real time. And you have to do all the parking and loading and everything else. There's like train simulators, there's farming simulators, all those kind of games. They're everywhere now. They're really popular.
Maybe sometime I might give it a go, but then again, I don't want to push my computer too hard.
Yeah, don't try it on a Monday, Ted.
Sorry, I'm just stuck in a traffic jam in the middle of Paris. Can I call you back?
Mark Scheller will bring back the big massive hi-fi systems to the 70s and 80s.
Oh yeah, all the separate parts that you could have. And then you had the turntable that you could infinitely balance with 10 little screws and things.
Yeah. Yes, you can tweak your wow and flutter.
Yeah.
With your pots for your flutter to make sure your tapes work properly.
Apparently, Cornelius Ryan was an American war correspondent and writer. Wrote The Longest Day about D-Day.
Oh, right. Jolly good.
Andy Preston would bring back Harrington jackets with your name on the back.
What's a Harrington jacket?
Yeah, I had a Harrington
That's the one with your
jacket,
name on the back.
Yeah, I had one, but my mum wrote the name on the inside, so nobody could pinch it.
Do you remember? Here's the thing from the 70s. I've just remembered from the 70s. Storybooks for kids, right? But you got the kid's name in it. So it'd be like, they'd put your child's name into the book. Do you remember that?
Run, Fox, run.
No, but they'd be like, for little kids, little storybooks, but they'd print them with different names. Print them So you get one for your kid and it had your kid's name in it. So if your kid was called like, Blebulon, you'd be a bit knackered, but
Well, let's just go back in the chat. It's moving up a little bit now. Oh.
Jeff says, dang it, Hawking, that was definitely not a microdose. Carl Sagan, maybe.
Cornelius Ryan wrote The Longest Day about D-Day. Yeah.
I think Chris may have read that one out.
I want to say in 1952, Mark Wallenberg was born, says Paul D. Tomaso.
Who's Mark Wahlberg? Remember, folks, we need all the
Wahlberg. He's an actory person, isn't he?
Well, we know that, but we need the factoid that goes with it. Imagine Colin reading it out.
On this day in 1949, Ken Follett was born.
Yeah, I've read some of his books. Quite good. Pillars of the Earth. That was one of them. Something like that.
Jeff remembers that submarine game. Once played one that was real time. In advanced levels, you sent your orders using Morse code.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's a bit harsh, isn't it?
It was really interesting when a bit of action happened, but it didn't happen that often.
Paul Dismas says, let's do this, try again. Mark Wahlberg was born on this day. He is 52 years old. There we go. The Bobbin says, for the brave, there is also a shower with your dad simulator. Whoa. I'm going to guess that's Japanese, because...
It wouldn't be anything else, would it?
It would be Japanese, wouldn't it?
Paul Allen Ryder still has his Bang & Olufsen stereo system.
McLeish says he's got bolt gun. It is DACA. It is indeed DACA. It's maximum DACA. The fact that they've... if you don't know Warhammer 40k, you won't get this, but the fact that there's sassy nurgling in that game makes it a Game of the Year contender straight away. Just for having sassy nurgling in it.
Okay.
Paul Dismas says he is a famous actor and a singer.
Singer?
I'm a singer. No. Was he in Planet of the Apes, wasn't he, I think? Yes.
No, he did singing.
Oh, I didn't know he did singing. Interesting. Most interesting. See, we learned something, you see.
And we'll forget it.
Give us information.
We learned it briefly.
What have I forgotten?
Well, they do say that one of the best ways to learn something is to teach it. So if we put the onus on the viewers to teach us, tell us things, we are actually educating them.
Ted, you keep your onus to yourself, thank you.
Yeah.
Family friendly. Andy McLeish is playing on Exterminatus difficulty. I'm actually playing it on easy difficulty just to get used to it, and then I'll go up the difficulty because I'm old. So
I've taken to playing computer games on an easier level than I used to, because I like to play for the fun of it rather than the challenge of it. I just enjoy myself.
When I was younger, I'd be sitting there playing Halo and Legendary and stuff, but now I'm older. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna take my time and play on easy, because then I can just pootle about. Because I'm old and rubbish. I don't need that stress in my life. Especially if there are bosses in the game.
So just putting the topic of tonight together, it was 60s and 70s and video games. What was it about the 70s that the first video game came out there?
Yes.
The first console.
Proper, yeah, about there.
Yeah. Well, the first video game was Space Wars in 1960 something, but that wasn't a commercial game. It was just in the lab. But the first commercial video games were like in the very early 70s or very late 60s. Things like the Pong machines and the Intellivisions and stuff.
Yeah, because we're talking now, it's like ping pong on TV. It's about the 70s. That's 50 odd years ago, isn't it now?
Yeah. Yeah. When I grew up, we had a binatone Pong machine with 10 different games on it. And they were all variations of that. Well, it was tennis, football that had 2. Squash, which was like tennis, but there was slightly different movement of the balls. I can't remember how it worked. There was
just had one side.
Oh no, they were like that instead of like that. There were other games, but they were all variants of two of the, because you had a paddle, 2 paddles,
Football,
and a ball.
Ice hockey. It's exactly the same.
Pretty much. We had a little black and white portable TV with the silver space age twirly dial on the front, like a Chrysler or something.
Or if you could set them up really. You could set the bats up so that it would just bounce around infinitely.
Yeah, and you could change the size. Oh, he's just explained. Paul Diapasa says Mark and Donnie were part of the boy band New Kids on the Block, and Stefan Lass says he was calling himself Marky Mark. I didn't realise that was Mark Wahlberg.
I know. I didn't link them as being the same person.
No. Now you've said it, I'm like, okay, Marky Mark, right? I get that now.
That sounds familiar, but yeah.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Now in movies like Ted, says Shellard. Well, okay, see, we've learned a thing today.
See, and we might even remember it.
That's what factoids are about. Putting little bits of informational factoids in nuggets into the foldy bits of your brain.
Anders has got a death for you to read out there, Ted. I know you like doing them.
Where we at?
Up a bit.
Who's got the death?
Anders. About 6 or 7 comments up from the bottom.
Pietro Sforza Palvacino died in 1667. He was an Italian cardinal and historian.
He can't have been a historian then, because there wasn't as much history then, was it? It must have been easier.
Yeah, but they're easier learning history then.
He didn't have to learn all the kings and queens and crap, did they?
Phil Kett says the Atari 2600 was originally released in 1977, not on this day, but in that year.
No. Yes, I don't know why, right? But for some reason, right, if you want to sum up the 1970s to me in my brain, the perfect year is 1977. I don't know why. That's just the perfect 1970s year.
Star Wars came out.
Well, yeah, and the perfect font for the 1970s is take the number 1977, but write it in that font where each letter is made up of like 3 or 4 stripes. So it's like lines like that, like 7 and 7, or the other way around. So instead of a solid letter, it's just like 3 or 4 lines going. For some reason, that's the ultimate 1970s font for me.
Yeah, and I think that font. Yeah, we'll go back for the font of the 60s. Could that have been like the Goodies font?
Oh yeah, like bubble. Yeah.
Yeah, the squishy, the Spangles font.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the early 70s font. I don't know why though, but like 1977, just the number 77 and that striped font is just that's me. That's the 70s for me. That. Alpha Nickel says, yes, Chris, just seen the re-ramp rally chopper built in Taiwan, costs £1,000 in either British red or multicolour design. £1,000?
£1,000?
Probably the same as it used to cost back then.
1974 was the best year, says Gemma Williams, to which Chris obviously agrees.
I didn't think about the 70s. It was top of the Pops records. Remember the...
You'll be in trouble.
Hits? Yeah, remember the LPs, greatest hits, top of the Pops. But no, they were all covers by the artists on them.
There was always like the Boston Pops cover albums of like stuff by the Boston Pops that were always terrible. Like the Boston Pops did the Star Wars. It was all like disco-y. Terrible stuff.
Yeah, next time we'll be doing the worst years.
1980s. There you go, done. The most boring years.
The best music.
Yeah, but they were just so glum and depressing and wet and miserable and cold, and everything was grey rather than being brown. Everything was grey and depressing. Yeah. Everything was like.
Yeah. Even the dog poo was in black and white.
Yeah,
it definitely was white, wasn't it? Yeah. It's past what's in store time.
Is it? Damn it.
We haven't forgotten.
Curses. Is that a subtle hint then? Who's going to do my introduction, seeing as I'm doing the What's in Store?
Foxx is going to do What's in Store.
Yeah, and there's a tenuous link there. You've got
the link. When you get the link, don't put it in chat until he comes back and he says, what's the link? Go. Using exactly those words.
Yeah.
I'll sound a bit more enthusiastic than what's the link? Go.
You probably will.
What's the link?
Whenever you like. It's fine.
Well, yeah. Before we go, Paul's got Henry the Sixth, Earl of Luxembourg, La Roche, 1281 to 88, dies at the Battle of Warling.
You don't know it's the Sixth. It might be his name. It might be called Henrik V.
It could be. The guy in Cyberpunk's called V, so...
Henrik V.
Yo, it's me, Henry V, in the house. What up?
I thought he said died at the Battle of Warrington.
Yeah, it's a lesser known battle. Yeah,
just off the M56.
What was he doing in Warrington?
Andy McLeish says, "Are you saying because I was born in the 80s that I'm full Graham? Because I was born in the 80s, I'm full Graham depressing."
Yes.
Yeah.
Be grateful though. You could be born in the 90s and look like Jack Frost, kind of jacket outfit. That's 90s. 90s were boring. Right, are we doing What's in Store then?
What's the store, Fox?
Yeah, what's the story, Balamori?
Yeah.
Right, I have to press buttons now, don't I?
Shall I push a button for you? Oh, you can do it. Okay.
I've done it. See, I did it though.
Yeah,
just Google it. Yeah, Billy answer.
How do bears work? You can learn how bears work. Right. Anyway, yes. Never mind that.
Welcome lucky that to wasn't the picture I was thinking about. People being bear at work.
As I pressed enter, I suddenly realised that there's a lot of
possibilities. That picture, wasn't it?
Yeah, I pressed enter and thought, I've just committed to something that could go horribly wrong. Anyway, yes, what's in store time? I'm going to show you a selection of items. There is a very obvious theme. It's very obvious. When we've finished, I'll come back and say, what's the theme? First person to get it right wins absolutely nothing. What do they win, Ted?
Nout.
But don't put your answer in chat before I come back to you. Otherwise, you just get the finger of shame like that. Finger of shame. And that's a high-speed finger of shame, because Ted's not got his finger of shame. Oh, yes, he has. There you go. So we'll crack on. Now, I'm not going to be able to talk much about these because I don't know much about any of these, so just shut up. So anyway, first of all, we shall dive straight in. We have the Tamiya 148 P47D bubble top. And
the P47, what you get when you get fired?
Yeah. And a 4x4 LV, or Jeep, as we like to call it. I don't know why they don't just call it. Maybe they don't have the rights to actually use the name Jeep. But yes, Tamiya do a great range of 148th aircraft. They're well known for it. But you may not know they do a range of aircraft with vehicles associated. There's quite a few. There's like a Messerschmitt. There's a Spitfire with a little British vehicle. There's a few others, but I thought I'd pick this one. The 148 P47D. It's a lovely little kit. You get the 148th Jeep and the Dude as well. Comes with decals to depict a United States Army vehicle. You get the plane as well. You get a pilot figure if you want it to be in flight. And it's one of those kits, this one, where you can try and learn how to do metallic finishes. Now, I'm assuming the checker pattern on there is a dirty great big decal, but if you wanted to, you could be brave and try and hand paint a dirty great big checker pattern or airbrush it. But the challenge with that one is, how do you do the unpainted metal finish? And there's many different ways you can do it. You can use various paints, you can use pigments, you can use buffable paints, you can use actual foil wrap. So it's one of those planes that you've got the fun there of actually trying to do it as an unpainted plane. And how are you best going to do that? What's your chosen method? If you have a chosen method for doing unpainted planes, stick it in chat. We'll have a read later on.
I wonder if you could do it in silver leaf, where they do it with light brushes and static.
Yeah, you could do. I mean, there is stuff called bare metal foil, which is literally adhesive foil that you stick onto model aircraft and it's literally aluminium. It's specially thinned aluminium, I think, foil to put on aircrafts that you can buff down. You burnish it down, it looks like bare metal, yeah.
Be the same stuff then, won't it?
Could be. And you can use it on like chrome bumpers and stuff as well. It can get quite chromy. I don't know if you can get it in the UK. There's probably other versions available. And of course, there's metallic paints and all other things. The thing I want to know is, though, were they always bare metal, or were they ever painted in other colours? Because you always see them in bare metal. What was the camouflage advantage of keeping a plane in bare metal?
I think it was down to speed, wasn't it? I think they were discovering aerodynamics and things like that.
I suppose also
people in chat will tell us. I know they will.
Yeah, I suppose also cheaper and faster.
Yeah, it's cheap and fast.
Yeah. I mean, I'm wondering if it was specifically to do with airplanes that tended to be on aircraft carriers. I know the Japanese Navy never primed their airplanes towards the end of the war because they just wanted to get them out made and painted fast. Which is why when you see
if speed was an issue, they wouldn't bother doing the checkerboard at the front, would they?
Well, there is that. That is a good point. What purpose does the checkerboard serve? It's interesting questions, you see.
It did continue after the war a lot, though, didn't it?
That's true. That's true. This could be post-war. See, with that checkerboard, they are channeling their inner orc.
It's to know which end the front is.
Yeah, it's where you don't put your face when the bits are spinning, because that's dangerous. So anyway, that's the first one. And it's only 35 quid. You're getting a 1/48 scale plane, which is quite big, and a Jeep, and a Dude. 35 quid. Come on. That's cheaper than a Domino's pizza. It's a lot cheaper than a
McLeish
pizza.
says something about radar.
I think being metallic, shiny metallic, it would bounce back quick, wouldn't it?
Would that make them more?
Would that make it worse?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because they only flew in silver skies. Moving on, that's the Tamiya 148th P47D, only 36 quid. Come on now, can't go wrong with that. Next up is the one other thing Tamiya are well known for is their 135th military miniatures range, both modern and vintage. And of course, if you're going to look at things like tanks, you're going to look at King Tiger. It's the 130th, not the King Tiger, it's the 135th German Tiger 1 mid-production. And I think it has, it might have, I can't quite see on the text, but I think it has individual plastic link tracks. I'm not sure though. Don't quote me on that. But we've always said, if you're looking at getting into armor, like tanks and armored cars and things like that, and you're not sure if it's something you're going to get into, if you're like, oh, I might try a tank, I might not like it, and I might never make another one, don't go out and buy like a Riffield kit for 150 quid that's got 1 billion parts and 500 photo etch sheets. Start off with something simple like a Tamiya, and then see if you like it. Because Tamiya tank kits, the 135th range, they are dead easy to build, they're dead simple, they're super detailed, they are amazing quality, and they're not stupid expensive because they've been going for like 50 years. Some of the kits you'll get from Tamiya in the tanks and armoured cars, they'll be like 45, 50 years old from the early 70s, but they're still really great kits.
Yeah, and don't bother with all this rubbish about somebody saying, oh, that particular tank, it's not a Mark 5, it's a Mark 11, and such a...
Yeah.
Get that. You're there to build it and enjoy it.
Yeah. But if you are looking at getting into tanks and armour, start at the cheaper end of the market, but go for Tamiya because they're the best. I mean, Tamiya kits, even from like 45 years ago, put it next to a modern kit, they certainly put up a good fight. There's a lot of...
I'm just looking at some of the ones I've built here on my shelf. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8, about 50% of them are Tamiya kits, and there's nothing wrong with them at all. They look brilliant. Nope.
Yeah. A lot of people our age who are into modelling now, who grew up in the 70s and 80s, probably grew up building like, the Tiger One or the half track or the Schwimmwagen or the Jeep or the
88.
I built that one, or the GCKW truck and things like that. The big that big truck I can't remember the name of, the one that's got like 85 seats in it, the German one. We've all built them. So if you ever want to get into armour or 135th military miniatures and you don't want to start off on the expensive end, start off with some Tamiya, see if you like it. They are brilliant to build. They put modern kit, a lot of modern manufacturers to shame. A lot of modern manufacturers are put to shame by their old kits. So don't shy away from the Tamiya tanks and stuff. So there you go. 135th Tiger One mid-production, das ist richtig. And I think it has the Zimmerit finish on it, judging by the painting. Plus, you can't go wrong with Tamiya's box art. It's legendary. So that's the 133,
please.
Cashier number 3. Now, don't forget you're contractually obliged to buy item number 3 because of the reasons. If you're buying a 135th German tank, why not buy a 135th German tank crew?
Birds.
But with birds. Another thing that they do in the military miniatures range is lots of figures. Either tank crews, vehicle crews, or just general standing around German allies, and also modern Korean, Vietnam, things like that. They do lots and lots of different figure series. And they're really good painting practice. They're really good figures to paint with. Some of the older figures, they're a bit soft around the edges and low in detail, but it doesn't matter because they're still brilliant figures and they're great fun to paint. Even Italeri can't make figures as good as old Tamiya figures from the 70s, so you can't go wrong.
Why is that guy at the back sitting like that?
Because he's in his turret and he's there going, I see you, I see them, they see me rolling, they be hating.
You could have really endless fun putting them in different positions and not in a tank and things like that.
Yeah, and what would you do with the birds? It's all about the birds. I don't know why they included the 2 birds. That's kind of a bizarre little twist, isn't it? Especially if you put it like a desert scenario, like an Arctic. I don't know. So yes, you have to buy that one. £6.65. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 figures.
You can see that none of them are actually officers because none of them are pointing.
Well, one of them's got a pointy hat.
Yeah, okay,
he's the commander, so he counts. But even if you don't, even if you're just getting the figures, they're beautiful little figures, and it's fantastic painting practice because 135 is a nice scale to paint.
It's just very clever that guy sitting down with that chair as well.
I know, because the chair's just below. He's got that man's boot sticking out of his bottom. I don't know where that.
I meant the other guy on the other side.
Oh yeah, he's got very strong lateral muscles and calves.
It's like one of them the buskers you see, just hovering.
He's like one of them gurus that sits on the stick, but it's actually just the metal rod. Yeah, big metal rod in his leg. No, moving on. So there you go. 135th German tank crew at rest. Next up, we have the 124 scale Nissan Fairlady 240ZG. Another thing Tamiya are very known for is their curbside car kits and full detail car kits. They've been making car kits for a long time.
Is it ZG or would it be ZG?
It's Japanese, so I don't know. I'd say Z because I'm British, but I say Z because it sounds better.
It's a bit like a Jensen, doesn't it?
But they are really well known for their civilian car kits in 1/24 scale. When I was a kid, it was all Audi Quattros and Nissan Fairlady, Nissan Sunnies and things like that, Corollas. Obviously nowadays they do.
That was a car I used to drive in the 80s.
A Corolla.
I couldn't afford a car, so we used to go down to the Nissan dealership, and I think there was a guy who was doing something a bit dodgy with the cars because you can hire a car. You can have that one over there, 50 quid. Yeah, and away you go.
Nice one. So I was a little bit torn when I was choosing a car kit to show you, because they've got lots of different kits going from, that they've been making since 1970 odd. Some of the earlier ones are quite simple and basic. Some of them might have only a bit of an engine in there. It won't be a curbside, it'll just be a pure curbside kit. Some of them, like this one, will have full engine detail. This is a more recent kit, so it's got full engine detail.
That back end doesn't look like it belongs on that front end.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's like a nice sports car with like a really crap, not sports car.
It's just not
right. They started in the front, by the time they got to the back, they were a bit fed up, so they just finished it off.
It's like a Lotus with a Nissan Sunny tailgate, isn't it? But yeah, I wasn't sure what to show you. They've got classic, like some of the rally cars. They've got like I say, the Audi Quattro is a classic one they did. They've got loads of others. But I thought I'd show you this one because it's a more recent kit and it's very nice. Some of the older kits, the actual photographs of the kits they've got are a bit not good. I was going to show you the older version of this kit, but the box art, the actual model they've got on the box, it's not very well painted because it's like from 30 years ago. This is really nicely painted.
Retro Rabbits just mentioned that the real Geno's kits for the 240Zs are rare as heck and super expensive. I've only ever seen one in person, and he's worked specifically on 240Zs for 5 years. So somebody knows about them.
Yeah, well, Rabbit's just finished working on a big old Jaguar with all the electrics, and he hates everything about Jaguar now, understandably. But this is a more recent kit, so it's got real good high quality, lots of really nice Meki plated parts, including things like, unusual for car kits, the actual window trim is separate and chromed.
Oh, that's
Now, often chrome plating on parts is a nightmare, but on Tamiya kits, it's actually really good. So you may get away with undergating on these because it's a more recent kit. I don't know for sure.
It looks like they come separately as well and not attached to a sprue, because there's always that bit where you cut it off a sprue and it's plastic. Yeah,
I wonder if it says separate metal plated parts for metal plated parts. I don't know if it means okay. For window frame sections, headlight cover frames, and plated trim of wheel covers for a super realistic finish and a hassle-free paint job. Yeah, because often they're just molded into the part, so they do look really nice actually.
It's actually looking quite a nice kit, but I could never do it justice, I think, because I just don't know how to do shiny paint work and things like that.
No, me neither. Well, that's why I chose this specific one. It's a more recent. They've got with eModels have the other Fairlady in stock as well, but if you go and look at that one, it's just an older kit, so it's not as advanced as this, but the paint job on it isn't as good, so it doesn't look as good to show off. And I thought, and there's a bloke and he looks terribly painted because
I'd have to do it as a garage find,
Yeah, but you're getting all that, and it's 45 quid. So you're not going to go wrong if you're into your cars. 45 quid is an absolute steal. So they are well known for their car kits. So that is the Tamiya 1/24 Nissan Fairlady 240 ZG, which looks rather fabtabulous. Of course, if I was doing that, I'd do it all beaten and weathered, and if Colin was doing that, I'd do it orked. But hey,
could be all. Yeah, you could do it as a barn find, and then put a bit of weathering on it and things like that. You could put some lights in it. You could make the lights.
You just paint it like a submarine, wouldn't you, Ted?
Paint it, yeah.
Rubber black.
You could add the birds from the previous thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just build it and then throw a sheet over it. And
it's completely covered in a tarpaulin. Done. There you go. What's the paint job? None. And you could use those birds because they're not the right scale, but you could just say they're really tiny birds.
Yeah, sparrows.
Anyway, there's the 24 scale Nissan Fairlady. Next up, we have another thing that Tamiya do really, really well, and they are really well known for, is their motorbike kits.
Yeah, this is going back to the 70s. I'm sure these 70s motorbikes, but
Well, I picked this one specifically because even I know people in the 70s who had one of these. And 80s. If you knew someone with a motorbike in the 80s and they weren't like some person with lots of money and had a really nice bike, they probably had one of these rusty one of these up the drive. Because kind of everybody did.
Something about bikes of that era that you know, the chrome on them. There was lots of chrome. They were all shiny. They were a nice shape. Yeah, I always wish that I'd passed my bike test many years ago. I haven't passed my bike test at all, but I just want to do it just so I could ride classic motorcycles. You know, something like that. I don't want to go fast. I don't want to go anywhere. I just fancy riding a classic motorbike. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I picked this one because I think for the most of the people watching, they'll remember these bikes. There's a lot of the motorbike range from Tamiya is quite extensive, and it goes from 1/12 scale all the way down to these at 1/6 scale, so 1/9 scale. And you can spend anywhere from 20 quid for the simplest of kits up to several hundred for the most detailed 1/6 scales, like the Africa Twin that you built, Chris, didn't you? You did the Africa Twin. What was your Africa Twin experience like?
It was a lovely kit. It really was. So, I mean, the detail was obviously there. I, again, couldn't do it justice because it's just beyond me. But even with my limited skill set, it still looked good at the end.
Did you win that?
Yep.
Yeah, he did. That's what brought him to our attention.
That was before I became a presenter, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That was one of those weeks when they had a really stonking prize to give away.
That happens occasionally.
Stay tuned, folks.
Yeah, because you never know when we'll have a real stonking good prize. But yeah, Tamiya are really well known for their bike kits, and if you're looking at bike kits, Tamiya are basically some of the best.
They've got everything with them. They have the fuel lines and sort of cables for the brake levers and things like that.
And they do a massive range from real basic through to super hyper detail with individual chains and stuff. 77 quid at this, it's like the middle of the market for them, so you're going to get a lot of good detail. It is 1/6 scale, which is really big. I know Colin did a part work of the Valentino Rossi motorbike, and that was 1/6 scale, and that thing is massive. That's a part work. It's not a model kit. Well, it is a model kit, but you know.
I think in this scale you can start taking panels off and things like that, can't you?
These are huge. I mean, this is like twice as big as Action Man scale. So.
Yeah.
So that means nothing at all. It's just random. Random. So I don't know why I said that. It's not really helpful. So yeah, they are well known for their motorbikes. If you're into your motorbikes and you want a nice kit to build, even I've in the past built motorbike kits from Tamiya when I was a kid, and they're not that hard to build, and they are really nice. You do get a lot of chrome plated parts in there. You can strip them and paint them if you want, or you can leave them as they are. They look really nice, and they tend to have good gating on them, so you're not got massive dirty grey nubs and stuff like that. They tend to be quite conscientious about where they gate their plated parts. So there you go. That's the Tamiya 1/6 Honda CB750F. I think my brother had one of those. I think it was like a real, like, crusty old blood splatter red, depressing burgundy or something it's probably called. And it was just mostly made of rust. But it lasted forever. JC Briggs and Bills corrects me, says the Rossi bike was 1/4 scale. Oh, I thought it was 1/6. In that case, that's massive.
That's almost like one of those little bikes you could ride.
You can almost ride. Bike.
Paul Allen Ryder says something twice and then removes it. I'm sure it was good. And also Rabbit says about the previous car, he says he has the exact kit in this colour on his desk right in front of me. Although he thinks the side mirror might have fallen off. Not this bike, the car before. So there you go. That's the 1/6 Honda CB750F. Next up, I think you're getting the theme by now, aren't you?
Enterprise.
Another legendary kit from Tamiya, and another thing of a range that they do. You may not know. They do a huge range of ship kits, modern and vintage. They have 1/350 and 1/700, and there is a small range, I think, of 1/100 scale. Oh no, that's a space shuttle. I think most of their ships they might do 1 or 2 1/35th scale boats, like torpedo boats, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But this is a legendary Tamiya kit. This is their 1/350 USS Enterprise, which might not still be, but was at one point the biggest aircraft carrier in the world. It might not be anymore, but it was at one point.
The kit itself, the ship itself, there's not a great deal to building it, but when you've added the paint to it and then you've built all those aircraft. That's when it starts coming to life. It's got everything on it. They're all.
Has it got a size on there as to how long it is?
It was 300 and something meters in real life, and it's 350 scale. So it's about 3 foot long. Yeah, about 3 foot long, I think. It's rather large. You do get all those aircraft. And if I remember correctly, I could be wrong, but I think they may actually be moulded in clear, or some of them are moulded in clear, so you can mask off the canopies. I think it's got like Grumman intruders and Prowlers F-16s. Let's have a look. What's it say? Does it give us specifics on the kit? CBN-65 carries 94 aircraft, which include F-14A Tomcats, A-7E Corsairs, A-6E Intruders, Vikings, Prowlers, Hawkeyes, and Sea King helicopters. You don't get all of those, of course, but you get all
Andy
the planes
Preston
on there.
says, I've got 2 of these.
Wow.
Where'd you keep them?
When I was a kid and I used to look longingly through the Tamiya catalogues in the 1980s, and I used to think their paint jobs were really good. When you look back on them now, you're like, they're actually not that good. This was one of those, wow, I'll never be able to have a kit like that kind of kits. Because I'd be like, I'll never be a good enough model maker to make that and with all them planes. It was always like a...
You think how good you've got to be as a pilot, not only to come back and land on a ship that's rolling about in the sea, but to miss all those parked aircraft as well.
I know. Yeah. They might not all be on deck at the same time. Well, they might be. I don't know, actually. Well, it's not so much aiming, Ted. It's just having an efficient brake pedal foot.
I think there's one going off at the front as there's another one coming in at the back.
Yeah, it's like, how do I make sure I don't hit them? Well, we have a real nice piece of string that'll pull you along. Okay, that gives me no confidence. It was the world's first nuclear aircraft carrier.
Nuclear powered, yeah.
And it was refueled for the 3rd time in 1979. It was decommissioned in 2012. It does say in here it's the world's biggest ship, but it's not. Like, the world's biggest ship's like 500 meters long or something. It's ridiculous. But it was, for a time, the world's biggest aircraft carrier. It may still be, I don't know. It's massive. But yes, it is a legendary Tamiya kit. If you ever want to treat yourself and you've got a big long space on your mantelpiece and you want to have a show-off kit, get yourself some of that. 3 foot long ship with 1 million planes on it.
Yeah, like the Titanic, plan where you're going to put it before you buy it.
Yeah, how long is your Titanic, Ted?
About 4 foot.
About 4 foot, about the same size as the Enterprise.
Yeah. Don't start building it in a room where you're not sure you're going to be able to get it back out of it.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, and make sure it's about 3 foot or so long, but it's also exceptionally wide.
And don't forget to glue all those aircraft down, because if you lift it up, they're everywhere.
Anyway, that's the Tamiya 1350 USS Enterprise. The next one, the last one we have. This is a bit of an extravagance kit, I know, but it's another range that Tamiya do that I wanted to show you. They do have a range of 1/16th scale tanks. You may not realise that. Now, they do a lot of 1/16 scale, well, not a lot, but they do 1/16 scale remote control tanks, and they cost £1 billion. But you may not know, they also do a 1/16 versions that are not remote controlled, and they have extra detail. They're designed as display models, and this is one of them. It's the M551 Sheridan display model. They do have other ones in stack. They do like a 1/16 Sherman. They've got a 1/16 Abrams, which is massive.
Yeah, but this one's especially impressive because it's airborne.
Yeah, because it can fly. I wish I could fly. It is a Vietnam era tank. You can get a sense of the scale there. Let's see what it says. It's 1/16 scale plastic model assembly kit, length 408 or 40 centimeters, width 17 centimeters, height 18 centimeters. That means nothing. 152mm gun launcher is recreated in excellent detail. Precision aluminium gun barrel plus other metal components, including a lower hull, drive sprockets, coil sprung, suspension arms, and more. It has pre-assembled plastic tracks. I think they're individual linked, but they come pre-assembled. And they have soft resin depictions of rubber pads. And soft photo-etched metal parts are included to recreate the anti-RPG net, often seen as an impromptu addition to Sheridans deployed in Vietnam. So it's going to be huge.
I know I keep asking this every time there's a big model comes on. What scale was Action Man?
Action Man was 1/12, I think. I think 1/12.
Yeah.
That kind of G.I. Joe.
I just wondered if
not G.I. Joe. That kind of Action Man skill, I think, is 112, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
There was an Action Man tank, and it was kind of looked like that a little bit. It wasn't very good.
It did. That's what made it.
I thought so. I thought that's what you think, because that's the first thing I thought when I saw this. I'm like, oh, it's the Action Man tank. But yeah, it's an expensive kit, but it's one of those things that it will command of you. Now, you've built a 1/16th Tamiya, haven't you, Ted?
Was mine 1/16th?
I think it was.
I think it was. Yeah.
Hmm.
I can't remember. It's that long ago.
What did you build, Ted?
It's my age. Yeah, I can't remember what I built, but yeah, I built the. What did I build?
Was that
It was the Panzer.
I can't remember.
No, it was the Panzer.
Panzer 4.
Panzer 4, yeah.
Yeah, Panzer 4. Yeah.
Yeah. There is a video build series of that on the channel.
Sorry, mate.
I'm just saying there is a video build of Ted's build of that on the eModels channel.
It is. Action Man was 1/6 his representative.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. So
Okay,
he wouldn't fit in there.
He fit on that Tamiya bike, though.
Yeah. So we go. Yeah. So yeah, great kits. Bags and bags of detail.
Yeah. Now, it doesn't mention interior on this. Now, when Ted built his Panzer 4, it had a full interior, which was ridiculous.
Yeah. Also, the Panzer 4 was a trumpeter.
Oh, was it? Oh, I'd take it back.
I remember. Yeah, I remember it all now. Yeah. But,
that's right, it was a trumpeter, but it's still 1/16, so it's massive.
You got to remember when you build a tank and it's got a full interior, you don't glue the top on it.
Yeah. If you've not got the nerves to make a cutaway version, just don't glue the top on.
Yeah, don't glue the top on, so you can lift it off and impress all your friends.
Or just make a cutaway version. There you go, it's cutaway what?
Buy two. Then you can have there's still one and one with just the oak.
Oh yeah, that's an idea. But yeah, so if you really want an impressive looking tank, now they do other ones, like I said, they've got other tanks in the range and other 1/16 kits. They're not all remote controlled. Some of them are just like this static display models. Either way, it's a really awesome thing to build because they are massive and quite impressive and more than worth a go. And you can have a lot of fun weathering these as well because they're so big. They just are so big. I've got to do another build for eModels at some point. I might be tempted to do a 1/16th tank. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, that's that one. So that is the Tamiya 1/16 US Airborne Tank M551 Sheridan. Not a tank you see very often. In media and kits. Looks fantastic. So there you go. So I'll quickly whiz back through. We've got the 148th P47D bubble top, and the Jeep. Let's just say Jeep, shall we? Not light vehicle. The German Tiger 1 mid-production 135th tank kit. Good budget starter kit. We've got 135th military miniatures and German tank crew that could go with that kit, or any German World War II kit would be nice. We've got the 124 scale Nissan Fairlady 240ZG. The Tamiya 1.6 Honda CB750F that you've seen up every driveway in the 1970s, rusting quietly.
Yeah, big enough for your Action Man. That.
Yeah, big enough for your Action Man if you collect Action Man. Tamiya 1350 USS Enterprise, make it so. And last of all, the 1/16th US Airborne Sheridan tank. So there you go. That is all the things tonight. I shall remember where the buttons are. How do I do it, Chris? Like that. There we go.
Yeah.
So what is the theme for tonight? Go. If everybody doesn't get this, then I'll be most disappointed.
I think Paul Di Tommaso may have answered it just correctly.
I think Paul Di Tommaso has answered it within a millisecond there. He answered it twice even. It was so good he made it twice. Paul Di Tommaso has in fact answered it correctly as Tamiya. Yeah, I was having a lazy day today. It was let's just celebrate Tamiya for a bit. Because you may not know that eModels are the UK's leading Tamiya stockist and specialist, and they also stock things like their remote control sets and kits. So the one thing I didn't show was the remote control stuff, but I tell you, I can only show so much. But yes, everybody's got it right. Rabbit says theme is Hasegawa model kits or pickles. It's never pickles. Bobbin says cheese. So Paul Di Tommaso, if you could prime the hamster. Clear the pump, clear the tubes, and send him his nothing.
I found it. I think he's good. He's outside.
Is he asleep?
He's outside on the sun lounger with the.
Don't blame him, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I'll drag it back in later and send it down the tubes.
And I think we'll give an extra special prize to Bobbins just for saying cheese.
Cheese. Yeah, we'll send that one as well. I'm making notes.
And you know what? I quite like the look of that Sheridan kit. I know I'm going to be like eModels de facto Warhammer builder, but I might be tempted at some point to say, do you want me to do a Sheridan kit? And then immediately regret it when I have to find a box to ship it.
You'll get it and you'll think, oh, I don't want to do this.
Individual track links. Well, it says plastic tracks, so they can't be that hard.
Cool. Yeah,
so well done. Yes, Tamiya. So check out the Tamiya section today. They do have a massive selection of Tamiya. They are the UK's leading stockist, and you can't go wrong. Whether you're a beginner or a professional or a hardcore builder, especially if you're a beginner, Tamiya are some of the best model kits available, and they have been for a very long time. So check them out.
Cool.
Check them out. Don't forget, of course, as we announced a few weeks ago, eModels are now proudly associated with UMP, Ultimate Modelling Products. So make sure to check out the entire range of Ultimate Modelling Product stuff in stock at eModels. UMP are now in association with eModels, so go and check them out as well. I shall be back in 1 second. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah. Just a note there, going back up to the in the 80s, Paul said he rode a Triumph Bonneville in the 80s.
I've heard of it.
Nice classic bike. Just lost the message now. He rode a T120 Triumph Bonneville, said 750 in the late 70s, and through the 80s. On motorbikes were real motorbikes. What else we got? Congratulations, Paul. Prepared to receive the hamsters. Yes, the hamster isn't with me at the moment. I haven't got the tubes primed, but I shall send it forthwith. And this is a pet, Paul, that you don't have to really look after. Yeah,
it comes pre-deceased, so you don't need to worry about it at all.
Yeah. When it arrives, it'll be deceased. So you just.
Is this the hamster?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because we know how far away it is down the tubes. It has to be an under the sea tube to Paul.
Yeah, there might be like a bottleneck somewhere. I spend.
Yeah. So that's it.
I may have to step away in a minute, but just for a few minutes. But carry on.
Okay. Well, we'll be finishing in a few minutes anyway. We do have one thing to do before we finish, though.
Yes.
Yes.
We have a thing to give away. You can win something. Look, it's a thing. Look, there it is.
It's actually not a nothing. It's the thing.
You can win the Folland Nat.
Folland Nat. Yeah, that's in Red Arrow's colours, isn't it?
Is the Nat not the pre Red Arrows plane, like the Red Arrows testing plane?
That's what they did. The Red Arrows did fly the Folland Nat. Or the Nat.
What does it say there?
So,
it says
it was designed as a trainer craft, so it could just be standard training colours. It saw action in India, I think.
Yeah, I know that if you have a look on the eModels website, that Airfix are sort of bringing out some of the back catalogue, some of the classics from the 70s and beyond are being re-released. So well worth a look. So if you want to rebuild some of them old memories, so there, Fallen Nat. What do they have to? Yeah, after the show's finished, you can go along, and when it's rendered, you'll be able to go along and make a comment, put a comment on the video. And I think the comment this week should be something about the Red Arrows, perhaps, or arrows, Indians, anything to do with arrows.
Yeah, a comment about arrow, a true but not necessarily accurate fact, amusing but not necessarily accurate fact about arrows, let's say, or any other comment.
Yeah, or anything.
We're not that
anything
fussy.
with a tenuous link to arrows. Cowboys and Indians. That's it. That sort of thing. King Arthur, King Harold, and his eye, and
that's one of the eye for Harold.
So I think on that note, before Foxx has to dash off and do things what he has to do, we can call it a night.
It's a night.
It's a night.
Yes.
And yes, there are no more planned bank holidays forthcoming, not until August. So
I think August, yeah.
Nobody knows when August is, so
ages yet.
We'll just make up a a few bank holidays just so we can have the week off now and again.
Yeah. Now,
So,
people might know that over the last few weeks, Colin and I have been doing Monday streams on the off weeks when we're not doing eModels. I don't think we're doing one this week coming up, but we might get back to doing one soon. But at some point, we might do. We're not sure yet. But
that's
keep
all
your eyes
the more
peeled.
reason to tick the notification bell so that when a video goes up, you'll know about it.
I will be back on Wednesday, though, with the Wednesday live bench stream again. Colin's still taking some time, so it'll be me working on that little Plague Burst crawler again this week. And then I think it's me and Colin back to normal next week after that. So I will be back here on this very channel on Wednesday.
Yeah. That's it. Lee Barrett says, Chris, are you still doing the archery?
No, I have all the stuff, but I haven't done it for a few years now.
Oh, well, maybe next week we could have a demonstration.
Yeah, because I can't do it from here. It'd break the camera. But
Does that mean you're real good with the bow in Far Cry 6?
no.
No. Do you have explosive arrows in real life?
Yes, no.
Would you like
arrows with
explosive
ropes
arrows?
tied on them just don't work.
No. Pew.
Right, yeah. So there we are. We shall, on that note, we shall leave it, and we will see you all not next week, but the week after on Monday night for an eModels night, when you can have another chilling time, listen to us ramble on about things for an hour or so.
It can be quite chilling.
Yeah. But until then, it's rather hot in here, so I'm going to have a nice cold beer that's got waiting in the fridge.
By beer, he means
Sounds
gin.
like a plan.
Yeah. Okay, everybody. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Take care, everybody.
Good night.
Adios, amoebas.
Bye. Bye. Bye.